It's time to learn more about the Bajun Crowdloan and what Bajun have to offer, because Ajuna's Canary network has been doing very well in terms of contributions in Kusama. People are hyped about it, the community is growing and people are contributing, especially now that their KSM are unlocked. So let's evaluate to see the potential that Bajun actually has. So I'm gonna look at a Medium article in today's video, and then I'll talk a bit about RMRK as well, because we have some news to talk about with RMRK, which I'm sure you're gonna be excited about. But it's not gonna be like a Polka update video, it's more focused on just these two specific projects. So I'll talk about Bajun first and then I'll talk about RMRK. So just to make it clear, 50 million is the total supply of Bajun, but 5 million are allocated to the Crowdloan, as you can see in this article here. So the idea of it is with regards to rebooting Web3 gaming to enable faster, more graphically rich and immersive blockchain games. Now, but to do it, they need a secure base of operations, and that's why they recently launched the Crowdloan campaign to fund their bid to secure a Kusama parachain. Now, if you wish to support the campaign, you can back them directly on the official Crowdloan page. And by the way, I've mentioned this in various videos. If you are interested to contribute, you can find the ref link in the description of this video and also in the pinned comment for a 5% ref bonus and an additional 5% if you contribute at the very least 1 KSM. You know, in return, they're offering a compelling package of rewards to Crowdloan supporters, including Baju tokens and exclusive playable NFTs. And by the way, we'll get 2 NFTs if we contribute. We'll talk about that a bit later in the video. So let's try to understand what they're actually doing. So Baju will be the primary token on Baju network, Ajuna's home on Kusama. The token will fuel all of the core functionalities of their Web3 gaming. It will be used to deploy new games, okay, so that's important, okay, because when new games will be deployed, and we will get them, there are actually 2 on the line right now, but that's only from the team. Of course, if there will be game developers wanting to deploy on Bajun as well, then they'll also need to get Baju tokens to deploy those games. It's also used to pay for network fees, so the transaction fees, support up-and-coming game projects, and access specialized services. Now below, they'll be discussing the functions of Baju for both developers and gamers to examine its role in governance and staking procedures. So what will it be for game developers and studios? Well, for Web3 games to achieve widespread adoption, they have to be competitive with traditional games in terms of speed and performance. Ajuna provides access to second-layer sidechains called game chains that massively reduce gameplay latency compared to conventional blockchain titles. Developers who want to deploy a game on an Ajuna game chain need to stake Baju to secure a slot. Okay, so that's one cool utility, because that should take it out of circulation. Okay, now you can to issue the native token. So an Ajuna game chain slot is also required in order to issue a native game token. Native game tokens are used to access and pay for all Ajuna services related to a specific game. They also provide the game with a more distinctive identity and open up a wider array of options to the developer when establishing an in-game economy. Now, of course, we can pay for network fees. This is typical of most blockchains, or parachains, I should say. You need the token for the transaction fees in most cases. Okay, so you will do that. But of course, you can opt not to use a game chain and to pay for Ajuna transaction fees directly with Baju instead. This is another option, okay? Now for the gamers, Baju will open the door to a wide variety or a wide array of gaming services, including tournaments, in-game auctions, season passes, and NFTs. In addition, Baju will be required to access the trust score system, which is used to track the trustworthiness of other players when playing online or forming teams. So it's becoming more than just a random utility token for staking and for transaction fees, right? So you could see that it's going to be used in game quite heavily from what we're seeing here. You can also back new games. So in the future, Ajuna will establish an auction mechanism for allocating game chain slots. New up-and-coming developers will pitch their game concepts and ask for the community for support to secure a game chain. Gamers will be able to stake Baju in support of their favorite projects and receive rewards from the developers in return, in a similar fashion to Kusama, Polkadot, Crowdloans. And then of course there's the governance and staking. Okay, so the staking rewards will be further subsidized through a token reserve of up to 1% of Baju tokens. Governance: all Baju holders will be entitled to participate in governance processes on the Baju network. This includes the right to elect the Baju Treasury Council, vote on grant proposals. So this is again typical to most governance, to most parachains which have governance, right? So this is nothing wow, okay? But the part that I'm interested in is definitely the bit with regards to accessing game and services and backing new games, okay? And then actually using accessing game and services means that you can also use this token within the games, okay? So that's pretty cool. Again, we've already seen this tokenomics in the past when I spoke about Bajun network, so we're not going to look at that. Basically, the Baju token or Baju token will be at the heart of the Baju network, used by both developers and gamers to access all of the core functionalities of the platform. Given that the supply profile of the Baju network, if the Baju token is fixed, they expect this value to be closely linked to the adoption of Achuna's gaming platform services on Kusama. The more developers who deploy games and the more gamers who play them, the greater the demand for Baju will be. If you believe in the potential of Web3 gaming, Achuna's Kusama Crowdloan campaign gives you the opportunity to obtain a utility token that will power the next generation of decentralized gaming. And what's cool about this is that they said that Bajun is not going to be used only for testing before games go to Ajuna. No, it's not the case, right? So it's going to be a case of some games are going to be building specifically on Bajuna, okay, because apparently it's going to be cheaper. And then some games are going to go to Ajuna, but then there will be games that will be on both ecosystems, okay? So it's kind of similar like with the dApps that we've seen on Moonriver and Moonbeam, okay? Some DeFi dApps may choose to remain only on Moonriver, some on both, and some only on Moonbeam. So it's going to be pretty much the same here with the gamers, okay? Just to give you that idea of how it's actually going to work. Now, looking at the Bajun Crowdloan details, the cap is 35,000 KSM. There are 13,343 KSM already contributed to them. That's over $1 million. Okay, that is a lot of KSM that's being contributed to them in support for winning. So when the crowd loans resume, you can be sure, when the parachain auctions resume, you can be sure that Bajun Network are going to be winning every bid. 35% will be initially unlocked at TGE, 65% linearly vested over the lease period of 48 weeks. And because you already know that we're not going to get the tokens distributed to us straight away after they become a parachain, because they obviously need to go through the parachain launch phase, well, you can expect a bigger unlock than 35%. Okay, so in my opinion, I would say anything between 40% and 50%, depending on how long they take. I would estimate anything between 1 to 2 months, but it could be a bit longer as well, depending on how long they take before token transfers get enabled. Okay, as bonuses, we also get 2 free Ajuna avatars. For each 1 KSM you commit, okay, 10% bonus for the first 500 contributors. That's already finished, by the way, and 5% bonus for the first 1,000 contributors of at least 1 KSM. And then a 10% ref bonus, which is split 5% to the referred and 5% to the referred. And looking at this here, we can see that 500 people have already contributed at least 1 KSM, so they're now getting the 5% bonus. And then they've maxed out the 10% bonus cap, so you can no longer get that anymore, but you do get 10% bonus if you use my ref link and you contribute at the very least 1 KSM. Okay, so it's not 15% as it was last week, but it's 10% now, which is still good, right? And so yeah, you can still do that if you are interested. Remember, the link can be found in the pinned comment and in the description of this video, depending if you're watching this on YouTube or on Odyssey, because I'm also on Odyssey. And finally, to look at RMRK here, I just want to talk a bit about the land sales. Okay, so if you didn't hold the Canaria bird at the time when they were given the land deeds, you can still get a bird if you are interested. Again, not financial advice, but how can you see if it's got a land attached to it? Well, it has this here, right? There's a little map to the right hand corner, top right hand corner here next to the number. And if you hover your mouse to it, it says it has a Skybridge land deed. Okay, so that's 19.6 KSM. That's the floor price for a bird which has the land deed. But we actually need to go down here and look for a bird which has the actual land voucher, because not all of them have the land voucher. I'm assuming it's because they've burned it. Okay, so as you can see, this one doesn't have the land voucher. Okay, so I found a bird that has the land voucher here. So this is how it looks. Okay, if you click on it, it says common landed voucher. You can increase a Moonriver's address credit for common Skybridge land by 1 when it's burned. Now to use, you need to burn the voucher and provide an EVM Moonriver address into the burn node field. So again, be very careful when buying a bird which says it has a land deed, because if it doesn't have this item attached to it, then that means that the person has already burned it and they've likely put in their own Moonriver address. And so if you're buying that bird thinking that you're going to get the land because it has the land deed, you're not going to get it, unfortunately. It's going to go to the Moonriver address of the person that has already burned the voucher. Okay, so be very careful when buying a bird. If you don't already have a bird with the land deed, or with the voucher, don't buy it, okay? It needs to have the voucher, okay? And then if you do that, just simply follow the details that you can find here, and just basically when you try to burn the item, you'll be able to enter your Moon River address there, and then that'll be it. And then of course, if you keep the bird until the end, or do whatever you want, but you should be eligible for the land once they distribute the lands, okay? So just be very careful with that. Like I said, don't buy a bird that has no land voucher, because it likely means that somebody already burned it and has used their Moon River address. That's been it from today's short video. Thank you for watching. Drop me a comment as always if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.